Hey y'all, Darla here with Growing Tropical. Well, you guys, it is an absolutely beautiful day here in South Florida. We're in the month of February, and I've got a lot of things to do in the garden. And I wanted to bring you guys along and show you what I'm actually doing in the month of February. Over beside me here is a basket that's hanging on the front of our cabana. I actually have two of them. One is behind the camera, and then the other one is right here. I absolutely love these baskets on the front of our cabana. They are like a focal point, and I usually like to just put things in here that just have a huge color pop. And last year, end of 2021 at Christmas time, I was driving down by our local mall, and I saw they had a color theme going down there of red and purple. And y'all, it was just absolutely beautiful. I loved the just the color that just like it just jumped out. And I thought, you know what? I want to duplicate that for the holidays in my yard. And so what I did was, because poinsettias are, very just, they're all over the place here in South Florida around Christmas time, I went ahead and I decided to go ahead and pair the red poinsettias with the purple, which is in this basket right here, the purple petunias. And I got to tell you, these baskets have just been a delight. They're absolutely gorgeous. However, let me just, before I go on a little bit farther, what I did was, because these baskets actually, the front of them it gets a west sun, but the backs of them are towards the cabana, and so those get shadier. So I thought, I can't really put petunias back there because petunias really need to have at least 5-6 hours of sun. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and put some white impatiens. These are just the Walleriana impatiens, or Busy Lizzies, the traditional. And I just filled them up, in the back here, and they're doing quite beautifully. But like I said, those face the back of the cabana, and they don't really get much by the way of sun. Maybe a little bit of filtered, but really not a whole lot of sun. But as for the petunias, as you can see, they're absolutely gorgeous. I did, let's see, probably, because I got these baskets started, I want to say it was probably like in November, like right after the Thanksgiving holiday. I got them in, and I don't know, about mid-December, I got a really bad case of mealybugs all over these guys. And I thought, oh my gosh, so I got my insecticidal soap out, and I just started spraying, and I got rid of them. So I was very happy about that. However, the poinsettias that are in here, they developed a spider mite, and then they got a little bit of mealybug. On top of the cool temperatures that we had this past winter, with the temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s, the poinsettias are just not happy with those kind of temperatures. And so this year, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to keep the poinsettias as long as what I would have liked to. So they're getting a lot of like leaf loss, and of course then with that spider mite and that mealybug damage, they're just not looking their best. And so when you don't look your best in my garden, guess what? You come out. So anyway, you guys, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be replacing the centerpiece, or the focal part of this this basket, which is the poinsettia. I'm going to be replacing it with another red flower that is a cool weather flower here in South Florida. We generally don't grow, they're the dianthus. Dianthus, matter of fact, let me show you. These are absolutely beautiful. These are the dianthus. Let me bring them a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. These guys get up to be about 18 to 24 inches tall. So I thought they would be really pretty down in the center, and you figured they're going to stick out probably up into around here. So they'll be a really pretty centerpiece for this basket. Not to mention, I'm keeping with the red color scheme. These are actually more like they're a deep red with like a very light reddish pink, like not margins, but the outer edges, the ruffly part of the dianthus. It's got that really pretty red pink around, and then of course it's got a white throat. They're absolutely beautiful, but I thought they would look so striking up against those pretty purple petunias, because I really like to kind of keep that theme going. So anyway, again, these are the dianthus. They get to be about 18 to 24 inches tall. They are considered more of a cooler, for us here in South Florida, they're much, these are the types of flowers that we grow here. And they'll do beautifully for you, probably through May, maybe even early June. But once our temperatures start getting really high, and once we start getting that humidity back, in like up, like 70, 80, 90% humidity, these guys, they just don't perform their best. So we're going to be going ahead and we're going to be getting, I'm going to go ahead and put those in, taking the poinsettias out. So I have another little project that I'm going to be working on. I want to get taken care of. So let's go ahead and go over to another spot in the backyard here, and I'm going to show you what that is. Okay, this is the other area that I was talking to you about with these two containers that I have flanking this doorway. Now, what I have growing in here is, or actually they're not planted yet, they're actually still in their nursery pots. These are Kimberly Queen ferns. And y'all, I love the Kimberly Queen ferns. I love ferns, period. And I think the reason why I love them so much is because they really, really give a tropical vibe to your tropical garden. And we grow them so beautifully here in South Florida in our outdoor landscapes. And so I thought they would look really, really pretty up against these beautiful clay pots. Actually, I say beautiful clay pots. I put a fresh coat of paint, this beautiful teal color paint on here as just kind of a last resort. These clay pots that I actually have here I purchased them from Home Depot a couple of years ago. And as a rule, these particular pots, as a matter of fact, I'm not going to make it a habit to purchase these going forward because they don't really last very well here. And I don't know, I think it's probably because these pots are so, or not pots, because our climate here is so wet, it's so humid, you know, we get a lot of rain and everything, that I think they just get, they disintegrate, you know, very, very quickly. And so I noticed the bottoms of both of these were starting to get a little, that deterioration, they were just starting to disintegrate. So what I thought to myself, let me go ahead, put a wire brush to them, you know, clean them all up, put another coat or a coat of paint on them and see if I can't get one more season, because they aren't cheap for sure, and they cleaned up beautifully. So as you can see, they're this beautiful teal color. I love teal. It's kind of a staple color in our backyard here by the pool. So I painted both of these clay pots up. I'm going to go ahead and plant these beautiful Kimberly Queen ferns down inside here. Now, mind you, right now we're getting a full-on sun because the sun is back here towards the south. And so we're getting a full-on, not sun, if I said sun, I'm sorry, we're getting a full-on shade over here right now. And this area right here will continue to be shaded right through probably around, I don't know, April, May-ish. We'll start getting, as that sun starts going overhead, we'll start getting more of the, you know, just like more of a dappling, or not even dappling, that's in the correct term. We'll get more of a sun over here. It'll be a light sun, but these Kimberly Queen ferns should do well. I've had them over here before in the summer months, and they've done quite beautifully. So they can tolerate, you know, I wouldn't necessarily put them in like a hot west sun, but for the most part, they're going to get like, you know, a west sun, but it's going to be late in the afternoon, and they'll do fine. Like I said, I've had them over here before and I haven't had a problem with them. So anyway, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started with getting these guys all planted up, and you know, once we're all done, we'll come back and we'll take a look at them. They're probably going to look much like they do now, they just won't have their nursery cans. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, you guys, they're all finished. They look really, really pretty. To be honest with you, they probably don't look much different to you guys than they did when I was first showing them than they do now, because I had them nestled down in their original nursery cans, and they looked like they were planted. But now I took them out of their nursery cans and I put them down inside of some really nice fresh soil. There was a little bit of soil already in these pots, and it wasn't that old, and so I went ahead and just settled them down inside that existing potting soil, and then I just filled it up with some fresh soil. So anyway, we should be able to get a lot of beauty. These guys are going to get, you know, way up into here. They're going to get nice and wide, and when I need to trim them, they are so resilient. Kimberly Queen ferns, or most of the ferns that I usually deal with here, the sword ferns, the Kimberly Queen ferns, there's lots of different tropical type ferns. Usually when they give me any trouble or whatever, I just kind of whack them off a little bit, and they just, you know, they grow from little, they look like little clear bulbs, and or yeah, bulbs, I guess you'd call them, or whatever, and they just they attach themselves to soil, so you can just pile the soil down on top of them, and those roots are just going to grab, and again, they fill out so beautifully, and they give such a nice tropical edge. So those are all done. Let's go take a look at the baskets on the front of the cabana. Okay, y'all, I finished up these baskets that I've got hanging on the front of the cabana. Like I said, I have two of them, and I have the identical things in both of these baskets. And just to kind of give you a little bit of a recap, back here I've got some just some traditional impatiens. They are white, and in the center we put in some dianthus, and around, let's see which way I can turn this around so you guys can see, and in the front there, from pretty much side to side all the way around, we have the purple petunia. And I think the colors are going to just marry so beautifully. Right now you can't really see the dianthus really well until they start getting up into the 18 and 24 inch mark, and then you'll be able to see that beautiful color pop of red with a little bit of like a pinky red margin around the outside, not margin, just the outer edges I should say, and then that pretty little white deep throat up against these beautiful purple petunias. And again, the only reason that I put these white impatient back here is because this does face the back of the cabana. Right now they are getting a little bit of sun, but again, as these start growing up, these are going to be pretty much in the shade back here, and they will do well. Now, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a recap too, on every one of the plants that are in here, these are only considered to be plantable in South Florida. I shouldn't say plantable, but we grow these types of plants here, the petunias, the dianthus, and the impatiens, notably in the cooler weather months. So for example, in the winter and in the spring, we would plant this type of stuff, early spring, I guess I should say, because once our temperatures start going up, and the humidity goes up, these guys, they just don't perform well here at all. And I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to get several months out of this. So we're in February right now, and I'm hoping that we're going to be able to go through March and April, maybe even a little bit of May. It just really depends on how hot and extreme our temperatures actually become, how much humidity is actually going to be introduced into, you know, our climate. But for the most part, when that happens, I'll make that decision and I will rip all of these out. And one final thing that I wanted to say to you guys, when we first started at the beginning of this video, I did mention to you that the poinsettias that I actually had in here, they did have a little bit of mealybug, and they also had some spider mites. Now, I did not take out all of the soil that was in here. I actually took out like the center part, and I threw it away. And one of the only main reasons why I did that was because I wanted to freshen the soil up around the dianthus and give it, you know, a little bit of that fresh potting mix. And then I kind of spruced it up a little. I did not see any active bugs going on, but I just wanted to throw that out there, because a lot of times when you are getting, I think a good rule of thumb, when you see any type of bug activity, you don't want to perpetuate that through your garden from plantings to plantings to plantings. It's kind of a good rule of thumb to probably take out all the soil. However, if I was disturbing this, like for example the petunias, if I disturb them, they would probably just die back on me really super hard, and I would have a really hard time getting them started. So I was very careful not to disturb the roots with them. I just took out the center potting mix there and threw it away, and then just put some fresh on there. And like I said, I didn't see anything active by the way of mealybug or any like spider mites or anything. But what I'm going to do is, when I'm finished with this basket, watering it all in and it dries, I'm going to go ahead and just take some insecticidal soap, and just for good measure, I'm going to go down and I'm going to spray around the base of the soil and everything, just to kind of maybe eradicate anything that may be starting. And again, I'm not planning on having these in like too long, because again, you know, living here in South Florida, once our temperatures start, you know, getting up in the 80s and 90s, these plants will no longer, you know, perform their best. So you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, following along with me with some of the things that I'm doing in the month of February. I'm going to be concentrating a lot on my containers and my baskets for right now, and then I will go into the landscape, you know, as we go through March. And again, I hope you derive some inspiration to get out and plant some beautiful things in your garden. And until the next video, bye for now.